high-speed racing alongside a potential championship winner. You couldn't quite ask for a better Sunday afternoon. Welcome along to LCR Season 6 for round number 11 of this 14-part season. And what better place than Monza, Italy, the Festival of Speed, this 3.6 iconic mile-long circuit with 11 turns ahead of the guys. 4 are just to the left, with Oman whacking 7 to the right, with 2 individual DRS detection zones and 2 activation zones for the guys to use. But let's have a look at just a few minutes ago. We had an epic qualifying session, and here is your grid for it. So one pole position. Pole position number 6 for LCR Mulder. Sorry, number 7 means it's prime seat for him, with the potential championship winner by the end of this one, LCR Leopard in P2. His other protagonist, VBR Hit, starts at the front of the second row, with King 25 a strong qualifying for Force India to get himself into 4th. The flying Finnick Gianni is only a row behind his teammate of VBR Hit, with ESR Amazed alongside him, the full-time new reserve for Haas in 6th position. Wade still starts from P7 in the end, being the lone Renault on the grid, with Emzat's the reserve alongside him in P8. Row 5 is an all-soft row, interestingly, with Jolly, the second Force India, on a split strategy compared to his teammate, and Squidgy 3, the other Haas, splitting the strategies for the Haasses. And outside the top 10, row 6, of course, we have the second reserve Ferrari in WR Clone Troop in P11, with Killer Snipes, the full-time Toro Rosso driver, as one is first, the other starts from 12th. And finally is, of course, the reserve, the Swiss driver of Ido Mortara, on the 7th and row at the back of the field. And well, guys are thick and fast as per usual on the formation lap. My name, as per usual, is the voice of LCR, LCR Nighthead. Alongside me, the owner of LCR, the LCR Season 1 champion, the man that knows all about LCR as much as I do, LCR Apex. Apex, what a close qualifying that was.
I'm excited. I'm excited for this race. I like where everybody's put. I like Mulder being in the way. I like Leopard only having Hit right behind him. It didn't quite work out well in the end for the front runners. King Liam with Jolly trying to play the team game. I'm always looking at the tyres they're starting on, because let me get that out real quick. Jolly and Squidgy Genie, as you said, both on the softs. Killer Snipes is on the softs. Ido Mortara on the mediums. Clone Troop, the only one outside the top 10 on the supers. But I'm almost thinking that Jolly, he qualified low on purpose. I'm almost thinking he might want to be in front of the cars and maybe hold them up. Maybe we'll get some close battling towards the latter half of this race. But I mean, I'm ready. I want to see a championship crown. I'm wearing my shirt. I don't care. I'll say it. I'm wearing my shirt. And I'm hoping that at the end of the day, Leopard will be putting in his order for his 4th LCR World Championship shirt. Unbelievable. Mulder actually gets disqualified and reset to the grid. So hopefully his tyres are warm enough.
That could come, couldn't it, of course. It could be the piece and the cherry on the cake for LCR Leopard, of course. On Monday, for those that don't know, wrapped up the TOR Tier 1 Championship. On Tuesday, won the URC Tier 1 Racing Canada for WR and LCR. Congratulations to my friend, deserved that one. On Friday, wrapped up ILR by beating TOR Limitless at the COTA circuit in USA. And then here today, it could be the opportunity to wrap 3 championships up in 1 week. Killer Snipes, the final man of 13, as LCR gets ready to create its legacy and create an instant classic in Italy. The 90th race in LCR awaits. The 5 red lights are ready to be engaged. And as per usual, the guys take one last deep breath before looking at turn 1. Will we chown a championship winner today? We'll have to wait and see, as LCR Season 6 is off in Italy. It's a good start in LCR, and poor start in LCR, a really good start. VBR in the second row as well, down towards turn 1. He's straight in the second LCR, but no minutes to get a good start. Mulder already down to 4th place. He's side by side with Killer, down towards turn 1. The yellow fire with a finish, waits to Killer Sides, but down the inside goes Leopard. He managed to fend off the VBR Hit coming through behind. Liam has managed to somehow lose out to LCR Mulder, and now Amazed and Gianni both wander on through and fancy their chance as well. Gianni down the inside, has contact, massive crash. The 2 Force Indians have come together. Gianni ended up spinning. He then came back on the track. Liam made contact with him. Jolly's them round, and just like that, the 2 Force Indias really beckon the opportunities in the constructors. But up towards the leaders, Leopard, Hit, Mulder, and Amazed are your top 4. What happened further down, Apex? That yellow flag immediately.
It's a messy start. It was a very messy start. Squidgy Genie ended up sideways coming out to the second corner. He's got sustained damage. He's already ahead of the Force Indias. Not surprising considering the 2 of them to come together. And there's very close battling early on. Is Amazed wants to charge up the field. He wants to charge up even further. As Hit is in front of Leopard. I don't know what quite happened there in Ascari, but it seemed like an easy move. He's lost it on the exit, and Leopard is now alongside on the run down to Parabolica.
Insane stuff on lap 1. These two know exactly what they need here today. Leopard needs a minimum of a podium to become a 4-time champion. Hit just needs to hope that he wins and Leopard falls further down the field. But so far, he went for a move towards Ascari. Leopard broke early and I think it just sent Hit too far deep and it meant to immediately come back on the exit of Ascari. But down towards the first round they come for the second time because no DRS in these conditions. Leopard still leads, but for how long? Hit is closing and closing, but can't quite go for the move just yet. Mulder and Amaze both sit and watch on and potentially hope as well. Wastel, of course, up to peak 5. Remember, Killer Snipes is trying to find a way past MZAT through towards turn 2. Can't quite do it for now. Down towards the curve of Grandad they come, because MZAT starts on the top 10. Killer Snipes did not into the pits. Welcome to Mortara, Kelsey, Jenny, Jolly, and Squidgy D3 all respectively. But down towards the second Ferrante, down the inside goes MZAT's potential Killer Snipes. Can he get the move done? He's under the brakes. Is the South African, and I think he's done the move on the Toro Rosso, so managed to fend off P7, and Clone Troop is getting away ahead, but it looked like the lead has got very close there, Apex.
Yeah, it's a very good start from a lot of them, but the thing is, Mulder had the absolute worst start of a lot of them, and you can say this train all here are licking their lips. They're going to want to stay within a second as we head on to lap 3, because if we do, we're going to have a massive DRS train all the way down from 1st to 6th. Leopard's got to put the boot in now to avoid that, because the slipstream and the DRS down this track are so powerful. But Mulder's already reeling in Hit, but that's not doing Hit a favour. If anything, what Hit wants is to get past Leopard and then feed him to Mulder, who's probably going to come back stronger. He didn't have a great start, but that's not to say he's not going to have a great race. As Leopard comes up to the line right now, is he going to set the fastest lap? He obviously did on the first. He does. Nobody can match or better him, as DRS now gets enabled as well. But we won't see it until we get down to the back straight on the run down to Ascari. And speaking of on the rundown, then on the rundown to turn 1, Amaze is having to defend from Wastel, who does not go to a move, even though he's very close, as is Hit, all over the gearbox of Leopard. I don't know if we have an issue right now, but
no, you don't.
Quiet. There we go. Hello.
No, you don't. I forgot to unmute my mic. But yeah, I was just saying, out of the winners, by the way, out of the starts, of course, Clone Troop up from 11th into 6th position. Good start from him. Liam, of course, the big loser, and arguably one of the biggest, as Janny as well also lost out on that one. But down towards the Ascari they come. The DRS now wide open for Hit. Needs to make sure he doesn't do the same mistake as before. He went too deep in towards this section. Of course, not really an overtaken section, really, even though you have got the DRS. It's not really favoured upon. The guys prefer to take it through the first Ferrante, but out wide once again goes VBR Hit. He's beginning to slowly sign a bit of weakness through the corners, maybe a too low downforce setup, but a track like this, can you really argue for going something like that? Meanwhile, Amazed, Wastel and Clone Troop now in a bit of a sort of freeway battle as well.
Hit broke way better than Leopard out the final corner. I think he might have a rundown here if he gets the DRS right. Mulder is the only one on the DRS with these two as well. It could be a 3-over battle. In fact, Mulder getting the fast slap might be because it's clean, but either way, Hit's down on the inside right now. He could be looking for a move down into turn 1. Well, Mulder trying to follow him through. Not quite, but Hit is into the lead of the race. This is enough for Leopard, but he's going to want to win this race. I mean, he's back on the inside of Hit. I don't know if he's going to try going side by side as we head down to the second variante. I mean, he is. I don't know if he has the run. I think Hit is just about that much quicker in a straight line. Like you said, he's struggling in the corners, but it could be because of a compromise. Is Leopard going to send it down the inside? No, he is not. He's going to stay impatient. He has no reason to make a rash decision. He's got 2 positions. I mean, Wastel in front of Amaze as well. We must have missed that. But I mean, overtake for the lead, overtake for the championship. It's a little bit more important. Sorry. But yeah, Mulder all in the back of Leopard now. Maybe he could get worse.
I caught it. I did catch it.
I did not. Okay, I apologise then.
I managed to catch the tail end as he went down the inside towards the first Ferrante as well, down towards Ascari they come once again, and Hits, I probably reckon he might be shifting his ERS up through the corners now to try and sort of get away, but again, another poor exit out of Ascari, but then the worst of all came from Amaze in the back right there. You don't know if you'll be able to see that, but now Clone Troop is on the back of him going towards Padlock. The man that reckoned he'd win this for 183 this weekend is currently under pressure here from ESR Amaze. I'm just saying, LCR over 183 esports, what are you saying? No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
won't be doing that kind of stuff. But Hit again has a bad exit down towards turn 1, of course, and this is the most favoured overtaking manoeuvre on the track. Don't be surprised to see this so many times, but down they through towards turn 1. Leopard goes to the inside line and sees the opportunity under the brakes. Hit brakes superbly late and manages to hold it off. Meanwhile, behind, Amaze has just about managed to fend off Clone Troop and now begins an attack on Wastel. These lot do not want us to stop looking at this championship scrap at the moment. They want us to look down at them. It's almost as if, like, battle of anything you can do, I can do better.
Trouble is, Amaze has just managed to nudge himself side by side with Wasto. Can he outbrake him into this corner? It's not a great overtaking spot, but they make contact. Not enough contact to cause any issues for anybody, really. They're so packed together going down to the first Lesmo. They've got to stop holding each other up. The leaders aren't even that far away, honestly. They could probably catch up if they were managed to put their boots down. But Amazed pulling off a fantastic overtake through Lesmo 1. That's really not an overtaking spot you usually see one in, so fair play to him. Obviously, Wasto's now under pressure from Clone Troop, who's really been feeling it this race. He's not been doing so well in his transition to the wheel, but he's definitely feeling it today. As, again, two three-way battles, no less, going on right now.
Amaze is off!
One with Amaze, who's no longer winning this race.
And just like that, 183 Esports turns off twitch.tv/Legacy F1 League into the wall because the LCR Amazing is the first DNF in this Grand Prix. And judging by what we're seeing, he's not going to be the last, but Clone Troop and Wastel do not care one iota. Clone Troop knows is again in position and now going to try and take the opportunity round the outside down towards turn 1, long way around for the Ferrari, and before they even hit it, unsurprisingly, because of this power that they get with that DRS, he is through into P4.
Leopard also thought about a move. You could see the cogs turning in his head. He did think about sending one down the inside, but the gap behind is so large. The gap between Leopard and Clone Troop right now is over 4 seconds. So again, even if Leopard lets Mulder through, even if Leopard finishes in 3rd place, that's still a championship winning position. Obviously, Hit would like Leopard to finish as low as possible if he is still interested in the Drivers' Championship. In terms of the Team Championship as well, obviously not a great start from Force India, but Mercedes doing fantastic. Obviously, Hit outscoring Leopard by himself, but also Gianni bringing in the extra points that Boris could not because he couldn't be here today. It's starting to get to crunch time, especially since next week we're at Singapore, week after we're at Japan, and then at Brazil, with the last 2 races actually still being on this game despite F1 2019 being released at that point in time. So who's going to be racing and who's still going to be competing? We'll have to see. I know Leopard still does want to win this championship, but I mean, the first thing on his mind right now is the LCR World Championship and making it 4 times good. 79 drivers have competed in LCR, only 3 have become World Champion. That's a percentage of what, 3.4%? That's less than the F1 drivers' percentage. It's so rare to win the title, and Leopard wants it to be him once again. As he goes around the outside of here, the DRS and the slipstream is so massive. He gets the move done before turn 1, and Mulder, once again, kind of having to stop himself so he doesn't careen into the back of Hit, because, I mean, he was getting the residue effect of that as well, as Leopard enters into the lead of the race once again, but I don't think this is anywhere close to over, as Clone Troop all over the back of Wastel as well. I believe Wastel just passed it, didn't he?
He did, yep, he did. And now Clone Troop trying to come back at him down towards Curva Grande. They are side by side. Get the Ferrari and the Renault. Brilliant bit of action here for P4. And in the end, I think squeezed out under the brakes for Wastel. Managed to hold it off, but then a bit of a sort of nudge come out the second right now. Brilliant exit from Clone Troop. Down the inside through towards Lesmo. The Indian driver going to more or less brilliantly opportunistic move. And now Clone Troop in the 4th. Wastel down to 5th. And Liam goes fastest, but unsurprisingly on fresh supers, but up towards the leaders once again, and Hit closes and closes, but once again not going to try it through towards that section. And we might also see like go-karting-esque kind of moves here, just swapping and changing constantly as Wastel gets the 3-second time. But I think we also see someone else get one, but I wasn't quite sure who it was, as Ida Mortara is passed by
wow, there's loads of them.
And Jolly has been passed by Squiddy Genie, but then Squiddy Genie's let that pass. I think he might have invalidated corner cut that section anyway. But here they come again, down towards the first rank A. Who's going to come out on top this time? Hit or Leopard, or even possibly Mulder? You never quite know. Hit again, closes and closes, and under the brakes, he goes straight to the inside line. Down the inside goes the Frenchman on the German, and he locks up and he tries to get it under the control. He skips across and Hit Leopard, see the opportunity on the outside, down towards Curva Grande. Will Mulder try and follow him through? He did, he does. Hit though, sticks to the inside line, round the outside. Now, of course, being on the inside line for the second Varante. Mulder trying to do the opportunistic mover, and you can't really blame him with the 2 championship protagonists ahead of you. Why not just take advantage of all the scrapping? But he doesn't. He's not able to once again, and it's Leopard again ahead.
See, this is where the dynamic comes in. Hit and Mulder, if they were on the same team, then Mulder would be very patient. He'd be letting Hit try to get through because they'd be thinking about the team game, but they're not. They're on opposite teams. It's up to personal opinion as to how much the championship fight is still in there. But Hit not having a great sector 1 has actually kind of lost touch with Leopard a little bit. Mulder even more so. But again, with the DRS and the slipstream, and especially these corner exits, I think.
Oh, that's not going to help.
Hit actually has a terrible exit out of that corner. That allows Mulder to breeze straight through, no harm done.
That's not going to help.
And I think he might. They're out of DRS as well.
It is, and that could be a race critical, let alone move. But in actual fact, Hit comes in, so maybe it was just a panic call there right at the last second. Wastel also does the same behind. 5-6 will start to go spin in the pit lane. That's not going to help your causes to grab and P4 alongside your time penalty already. Into the pits though, and I think Hit might have been slightly held there by Wastel coming round, so that could cost him even more time. Hit's on the softs, Wastel on the mediums, interestingly. So a split in strategy between Renault and Mercedes. Is that expected?
I mean, I don't know if Wastel knows about the Supers to softs run. Maybe he thought, oh, pit early on, I'll just be safe. But I mean, Hit didn't really have anything to lose. I think the time he lost on the exit of Ascari, he's going to make up in this undercut. So I think he'll be alright. And Killer Snipes gets a penalty. I want to mention Killer Snipes real quick. He's had a pretty decent second half of the season. In fact, Toro Rosso, I'm going to say it because we're in Italy, Toro Rosso have had a bit of a renaissance in the second half of the season. They're currently second and fourth. I know pit stops are occurring. But Killer Snipes is the highest runner who's started on those soft tyres, so he could be threatening Cluntroop and Wastel, especially with Wastel's penalty. I know Killer Snipes just got a 3 second, I believe Wastel has 3 seconds as well. There's going to be a whole mess of penalties. In fact, I'm going to check the front runners right now. Mulder doesn't have a warning, Leopard doesn't have a warning, and Hit does have one warning. So it could come down to penalties for a lot of these drivers, but for the leaders right now, what you see on track is what you get. Leopard peels in, and Mulder does not.
Interesting call there for Leopard to think, yep, enough's enough on these supers, let's get a tyres change, and possibly even respond to the fact that he saw Hit darted in after his mistakenly lost the position. Well, it's going to be soft tyres going on to that Williams, and out of the pits he comes, and well, I don't even think, let's see where Leopard is regarding, he's now about to hit the pit line, I believe, as the camera's not panned over, which is very handy, as that, there he is, pit line just there. Hit now flying down towards turn 1, and that looks humongous from this angle. I doubt it's even going to close up that much. And well, as you can see, there it is, about 3.6 seconds between Hit and Leopard. So that undercut really has flopped.
Yeah, I kind of find it curious how the overcut works so well. I mean, I don't know how Hit's outlap was. I mean, Hit did have cold tyres, now they're warm, and now Leopard will have cold tyres. So he's going to rope back the gap a little bit at least. But I wonder where this leaves Mulder. I don't know, because he was between these two before they both pit, but now they've both got an undercut on him, and he's gone long. I don't know if that's for a specific reason or not. There's 3 drivers who've still not pitted, including Cluntroop, who started on the super soft tyres. I believe, actually, I think literally everybody else has also pitted. Yes, literally everybody else has, apart from Amaze, obviously. But is Mulder going to come into the pits right now? Yes, he is. He takes the tight line. I'm going to assume that Cluntroop's probably going to follow him, unless he wants to go for the glory lap. No, he doesn't. Killer Snipes will continue on. He will become a race leader in LCR because he's going to be on those tyres for a considerable amount of time.
Yeah, good for Killer Snipes. I'm sure, and he might even possibly play into the hands of his teammate. But let's have a look and see where they come out with regards to others. Mulder now about to hit the pit line. Leopard flying down towards turn 1, and well, let's just see. There's Mulder on the right hand side. Past goes Leopard, no issues at all. What about Hit? He is nowhere near. So, well, Mulder has closed in just that ever so slightly, but with the cold tyres, that could be extended with his first couple of sectors while he gets them tyres up to temperature. But well, the leader's kind of split now.
I feel like I can feel the focus shifting away from the drivers to the teams. Because if you look at it from the team's perspective, again, there's a lot of unanswered questions. How are the Toro Rosso going to do? Is King Liam gets past Adam Mortara down the DRS straight? That's going to be a comeback for the Force India. Talking about the teams, Cluntroop gets a penalty, and he's obviously in front of Wastel by a decent margin. This pit stops hasn't done a great job of keeping the drivers together. I've got to be honest. All the gaps we had and all the battles that were going on, it's just completely been broken, and now everybody's split and doing their own thing. Again, if you look at it in a team game, it still retains some interest because you've got Killer Snipes and Mulder doing decent. Killer Snipes obviously yet to pit for quite a while. Squidgy Genie coming out the pits on a fresh set of mediums. That's kind of a curious choice to make. You've got both Mercedes, you've got both the Force India. So team-wise, it's still pretty interesting. But I mean, on track and for the Drivers' Championship, I don't want to say it's done. It's not over till the fat ladies sing. Let's say that. We've got plenty of race left to go. But it's looking very good for the Williams driver right now, put it that way.
Yeah, but it could come into play. Keep in mind in a couple of laps, the gap now 9.5 between Snipes and Leopard, and well, could the Toro Rossos be about to work together just to sort of give that window of opportunity to Mulder to close up on Leopard on them softs? It'd be interesting to see how it actually plays out in regard to them, and we'll hit that 1.3 seconds down the road as well with now Clone Troop 3 seconds as well. But into the pits comes Gianni for his second stop, because made the first stop at the very first lap. Liam has stayed out on his supers. Gianni going on to softs to take them to the end as well on a 2-stop strategy, of course. Might actually be undercut here by Liam's teammate Jolly, potentially. Down towards turns 1 and 2, as he's still a bit sort of scrap with Vito Mortara, but he's not exactly getting away, but Mortara not exactly attacking. And well, yep, Jolly going to sail on past. I don't think Squidgy's close enough. So Gianni now down to 11th, and sort of force India teamwork. Even when they're down at the bottom, they might still try and work together.
I want to say their plan for, I mean, obviously got scuppered for turn 3, but I do believe their plan was, because it looked like in qualifying, big shock, it looked like Jolly was pretty much sacrificing his lap time in order to get King Liam up as high as possible. And I almost think what they were going to do was have Jolly run long on a set of softs, and then maybe, like, before he pits, hold people up, because they've done that before this season. One of them runs long and holds people up. Maybe they were trying to get King Liam as high as possible to maybe help win the race, but again, as you said, they came in contact with each other in turn 3, so best laid plans and all that. As I do want to mention, actually, Mulder is losing touch of Leopard, and Hit is actually gaining touch on Mulder, so it's not quite over yet. I am silently rooting for Mulder. He's done very well so far, and I want to keep his momentum up, but I mean, for the sake of the championship, you almost want to argue that Hit should be aiming down Mulder and trying to pass him as soon as possible.
Yeah, it could be an interesting one. Into the pits comes Mortara and Liam for their second stops of the Grand Prix. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting prospect to see how it works out in the end with regards to everyone sort of watching the gaps. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be furiously watching every single sector come through, in particular probably Mulder looking ahead at Leopard and looking behind at Hit. He's going to think, of course, Hit looking ahead, he's not thinking behind with that 5-second buffer to Clone Troop. I'm sure he's fairly comfortable in terms of beating the Ferrari, so there's no real chance of that one, but at the same time he's got to think, well, I've got to close up. But Mulder has just got a massive chunk of time on left there. He must have made a mistake coming out of Ascari.
Ascari seems to be the problem corner for a lot of these drivers. I think, to be honest, the only driver I've seen nail it every single lap is Hit Mulder. I almost think Mulder might have a corner-centric setup, as there's a yellow flag in sectors 1 and 2. That's Adam Mortara losing it just before the time split, which means that he loses touch to King Liam, and maybe it's not Leopard making a mistake, maybe it's just Mulder turning up the wick because he set the fastest lap. They have about the same amount of all 3 of these drivers have about the same amount of ERS as well, so they're pretty much matching each other, although Mulder, again, as you just seen, is the quickest.
I've just been informed in the chat. Waste, of course, always giving us updates of the race, of course, always provides us with the weather. Waste, or the weatherman, I prefer to call him from time to time, and whenever I'm commenting on a league race, first thing I always put, first message I get in the chat is not hello, it's always conditions are dry, or conditions are wet, whatever we usually get. But he's coming to the chat now, and he said that the team were meant to put on the softs, but they put on the mediums. So Renault could be having issues with their radios at this moment in time, similar to the fact that last season, if you remember rightly, who was it? I think it was McLaren who got held in the pits at France. It was lots. It was McLaren. I think it was McLaren and Sauber in France, and then Renault. King Liam got held in the pits in Germany, but he retired before Boris got affected. But yeah, no, they're not. Radio in this season hasn't been fantastic, and I don't want to need to cut across and interrupt, but I had a quick look at penalties real quick, and Leopard unfortunately keeps getting himself in a position where he has to pull out a 3-second gap. He did it in LCR Season 5, he had to do it literally this Friday. Leopard, of the 3 front runners, Leopard is the only one who's on 2 warnings. So if he doesn't watch himself, he could be losing positions to Mulder and Hit. Again, it will still be enough for a championship, but for the race win, which he's obviously have to fight for, it's definitely not over yet, especially when you consider the fact that Mulder and Hit are about, I mean, they're both 1.3 seconds away from the car in front, and that is coming down. So, I mean, I don't know if Leopard's maybe salvaging. He's got less ERS than the pair of them combined. Well, not combined, obviously. He's got less ERS than the pair of them. So, could Leopard, I mean, he could be under pressure right at the end of this race, especially if he gets a penalty, and these two do not. So, he's I mean, what a shock. He's got to drive as fast as he can. Yeah, no surprise there in LCR, always under, despite the fact you think, oh, he's a 4-time champion, will potentially be 4-time champion, it looks, you know, like as if he's finding it easy. He still had to fight for every single one of those titles just as much, because last season didn't even win by a points amount. He drew on points. with VSR Dralex at the end of the Brazilian Grand Prix. I still remember I was working that day and I came back from work and I just remember seeing the fact that he finished in the points draw and I just couldn't believe my eyes. It was quite possibly a spectacle that I'm sure you very much enjoyed having the privilege of commentating on. But now we come into an interesting fact here. As I mentioned before, Killer Snipes could be playing a factor, and now he might be. The gap 1.7 between Leopard and Snipes, and given the fact his teammate's in third, he might be about to play good job teammate.
And Gianni is right behind Jolly. He's in DRS range, so he's trying to gain on this Force India. Again, these two are actually battling in the team championship. Jolly both of these, well, are going to want to finish in front of the other one, especially since Gianni is in front of King Liam right now. So maybe we could be seeing Jolly maybe holding him up. Maybe they're going to play off that strategy, even if it's at the back of the field. But yep, Leopard now within DRS range of Killer Snipes, so that's not going to help at all. I mean, if we're looking at the team game, I'm not sure how much Killer Snipes and Boulder are. Then there'd be a bit of a bit early braking from Killer Snipes going on, and Killer Snipes is pushing and is going defensive, so he is defending. I think he's well within his rights to, especially considering his teammate's circumstance. Leopard goes around the outside, gets the move done, goes off the track, no warning. Mercifully, that could have ended very poorly for Leopard, as Mulder is now also within DRS range of Killer Snipes. So actually, I think Mulder is still within DRS range of Leopard. I think he's actually closed in the gap because of Leopard having to awkwardly overtake. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see Killer Snipes kind of fade into the pits as Leopard let his teammate go. Killer Snipes goes to the inside of the circuit. Mulder gets as much DRS slipstream as he can, opens the DRS, and now he is let loose towards Leopard, as Hit is also creeping within the DRS range. So never mind penalties, this could be done on track.
He could be about to be in for one hell of a last 10 laps or so of this one, because now VBR Hit is within LCR Lap is within DRS range of LCR Mulder. I can't even talk today, it's been a really poor day in general, but Killer Snipes now down to 7th on them supers. Might be interesting to see how he gets on with regard to MZATs as well, and Wastel ahead potentially, as Wastel of course being closed in by MZATs as well.
Defending off of Gianni.
Meanwhile,
into Parabolica, where Jolly had the collision with Dralex, and it's not gone well for Jolly. Breaking for the corner, Gianni gets the move done before the corner. That's not even a DRS zone. I believe Gianni will have also... Nope, Gianni did not pick up DRS. His battle's not over because Jolly picked up the DRS and has a much better exit from the corner. Is he going to try to move around the outside? That's his only real option as the Mercedes goes defensive. He blasts past him, but Gianni breaks so much later. Does he outbrake himself? Looks like it's slightly. The switchback might be on, but Gianni blocks him. Gianni is up to P8. Can he hold that position?
I don't know, because here comes Jolly out of Curva Grande down towards the second Varente, and he's continuing to close down towards this section. They come round the outside, goes Jolly under the brakes. He is going to do his best and swoops potentially. He can't quite do it, but then pushed out. Gianni is off the circuit, and Gianni is off. Liam's going to slide on past. And meanwhile, Mulder has gone to the inside line against Leopard, down towards the first front. In fact, so much picking that one up, but down the inside goes the Flying Dutchman, and Mulder, once again for the second time in 2 weeks in LCR, leads a Grand Prix.
Don't leave these game tags for you. These guys aren't on the same team, esports or driver-wise. So these two are going to be fighting. And here, once again, he's going to be licking his lips. He's going to want to take advantage of this situation that he has right in front of him right here. I think it's, unless something drastic happens to Leopard, I don't see him not finishing on the podium, because not only is Clone Troop so far behind, but Clone Troop also has, I think, at least a couple penalties, whereas, again, none of these front three do. So if Leopard can keep it clean, he could still be in this fight. But if Leopard gets a penalty, especially before these lot, then he could be in trouble. Squidgy Genie creating a bit of a roadblock. I believe he did not actually give Mulder DRS either. So, I mean, fight is very much back on. And I think, if anything, it folded these all up like an accordion. And now Hit is right on the back of Leopard. He's actually closer to Leopard than Leopard is to Mulder. He could be trying to move sooner rather than later.
There's the moment of fame for Squidgy G3, currently down to 11th, about half a minute off. But of course, meanwhile, whilst that carnage was going on, we'd have a DNF Edo Mortara out of the session now, so we're down to 11, so one more retires and everyone will get points who makes the checkered flag. But these lads don't care about the checkered flag right now. They care about the 25 points and the top step of that podium. Here comes Leopard once again, closes down towards the first Varente. Will he try the momentum lunge down the inside? Mulder goes defensive, that blocks that off, and that very much seals the deal when he even manages to time his braking zone of affection and manages to hold it through towards turns 1 and 2. Meanwhile, interestingly, behind, MZAPS has passed Wastel in the P6 further down, and Killer Snipes is 2.3 seconds behind him, so it could be an interesting scrap to see how them three collide, as there's 10 seconds now, but there's Clone Troop, bless him. He's on his own now.
Johnny just let King Liam through, and he's now holding up Gianni as best as he can on the run down to Parabolica. I really What? There was such a quiet period when nothing happened, and now everything is happening. KSC Gianni trying around the outside of Jolly through the final corner. He's not even squeezed remotely off the road. He's just given as little room as possible. As King Liam is the big winner. He was behind these two not that long ago, but Jolly successfully held up Gianni just as I thought he would. Is Gianni going to try and move back down the inside as King Liam is also pulling back? His hit gets a 3-second time penalty.
Oh, I thought. Oh, Gianni meanwhile tries to go down the inside. Jolly doing his best to defend as hard as possible. Gianni then powers the back end out through towards the first Rante. But yeah, now with the leaders, now it's very much disadvantage VBR Hit. We already knew that Leopard only had to get a podium win here today. I'm sure they're only really caring about the Grand Prix that's currently at hand. Of course, Leopard looking to try to extend his reputation of another race victory in LCR. What's happened?
Gianni just passed Jolly. He just said, I've had enough of this. I'm going to just go around the outside. That might be a penalty because Gianni just cut the second half of the Variante and just shoved Jolly right out wide. I can understand the frustration, but you can't let the frustration get to you like he did just there. As Wastel all over the back of MZATS, he could be looking down the inside into this corner. Is he going to give it a move? Yes, but MZATS breaks very late. MZATS flying completely under the radar. He's had a pretty decent race, has to take the escape road. But true enough, he just kind of takes it and moves on. Fair enough, I don't think that fight's over. Quick shout out, by the way, to Hayden, who's just finished his London to Brighton bike ride. I don't know if you're watching, mate, but if you are, I hope you're enjoying it because that is very impressive, mate. 8 hours for a good cause. British Heart Foundation, I believe you can still donate it to that. While we have a minute, I thought I'd shout that out, but I mean, we're not going to have a lot of minutes left. There are only 8 laps left, well, 7.5, and I think Wastel's the only car not battling right now. Like, it's all kicking off.
Yeah, Clone Troop, so I'm sure he's having a lovely time in P4. I think another 12 points here today. Of course, this is actually in fact a previous winner in LCR, of course. Famously, of course, one that comes to mind immediately was the German Grand Prix in the Championship League before the Christmas break. But of course, won at China first thing first and 4 victories. But interesting with the leaders, you've got Leopard with 26 wins, Hit with, well, 2, and Mulder with 1. So it kind of goes to show that just how much LCR experience each one of them have. As Jolly comes out the pit right in front of Mulder, you can guarantee he's got his best Sebastian Vettel impression going, blue flag, come on, get this Force India out of the way. And just like that, Mulder goes sailing on past. Yep, that was a terrible accent, but I don't really care.
I rate it, I liked it, that's alright. The thing is though, as well, Jolly don't know what his strategy is. He gets right out of the way. I have no idea what he was doing now, I've got to be honest, but now Hit Leopard is incredibly vulnerable to Hit. I mean, for Hit's sake, he knows he has the penalty. The front two in front of him do not. So if he can get in front of Leopard and maybe at least deny him the victory, maybe there's some hope. I mean, we got the team championship to play for. These 3 drivers are all in teams within contention. I'm going to save Toro Rosso because they are actually bringing in the biggest points haul as things stand. So maybe they could be creating a late charge. I mean, there's so many factors at play here, but the main thing is Leopard is still winning this championship right here, right now, as things stand. Unless he gets a penalty, then it gets very close.
What a day this could be for LCR Mulder potentially, but what an even better day it could be for the German LCR Leopard, a man, of course, that would become an 11-time, 11-time league racing champion. 12, sorry, I forgot, he became 11 yesterday.
11 was Friday, yeah.
Yeah, alright, sorry, some of us get stats from time to time. Anyway.
I have to keep track of it because every time he wins one, he makes me put another star in his profile picture. So, unfortunately, I'm the one who has to know this.
Oh, well, that's such a shame. But
on the subject of Leopard, by the way, I just want to mention real quick, he has loads of ERS. I think he's been saving it for a late lap charge, but he needs to be towing the line right now because Hit has a fair amount as well.
Contact,
been wasting
Snipes and MZATs. Just went on board with it because Snipes went down the inside and MZATs, well, Killer Snipes massively missed his brakes and tried to get back on the track. MZATs was then there. They came together. A sort of bounce came from the South African, and now Wastel's on the back. Killer Snipes goes defensive on the inside, tries to block off MZATs, and does. And Wastel swoops around the outside and says, "Thank you very much. That's P7. That's P6 for me once again." And now Snipes can begin to try to sort of work out how to get ahead. Ooh. But Hit has just seen the nail in the coffin in terms of grabbing the race victories. If it already wasn't, that very much is him being dropped into the grave and saying, "Good night, Vienna." Hit 6 seconds.
3 warnings on 1 lap, by the way. That was all on that lap.
Has that been his downfall? Has that been his issue all season long? What can you think? What can you point to the things that have potentially cost him, because of course at one point it looked like we had a new championship contender. It's happened the same before with Clone Troop, you could argue, back in season 5, you know, where he was in a position and all of a sudden it just all went wrong for the Ferrari back then. But now we're here today in LCR season 6, and you have to begin to question what has gone wrong. It means VBR Hit has not been able to challenge Leopard probably as much as they would have liked. Meanwhile, MZAT's back past Waystal down towards turn 1, and this heated scrap continues. But Snipes now once again into 5th, and on for what will be an incredible couple of weeks, by the way, for the Taurus, because last week got him I'd say probably disappointing 8th compared to the 4th last week, but the week before. But you know, still a brilliant second half of the season, and another 10 points today, and potentially 35 for Toro Rosso as well.
I mean, Toro Rosso have a good history with this track, as we mentioned, season 2, Pepsi won the title here. Car he was driving was a Toro Rosso on the race. Could Mulder replicate that today? I mean, for Hit, I think a lot of it is, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind now, because he's right behind Leopard. He's got 2 seconds worth. He's got 6 seconds worth of penalties. He's going to be P3 regardless. I think he can still afford 1 more penalty because of Clone Troop having, I think, 2. So he can afford like 1 or 2 more penalties. Jolly goes fastest. Is he right behind these guys? Yes, he's literally right behind Hit. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, no, Hit, he could almost throw caution to the wind. He just needs to be an inconvenience. Again, shift your momentum, shift your focus to the team championship. Yellow flag in sector 1 for literally no one. Don't know what that was.
That was for Jolly. He slowed down.
That was for Jolly.
I don't think he wanted to be on the back of this train so much, you know, knowing it's the leaders. I think he just wanted to sort of take the pressure off. He knows for a fact that he might even come at 1 point. Well, actually, he's slowing down here to the point where Gini's closing up, so he needs to kind of get a move on here, really, if he wants to get that 1 point, or even he might even give it, because these two good friends in actual fact, the Irishman and the Brit, so there might be a potential sort of giving here to the half, almost to shove it in my face for the fact that kebab, but I still owe Gini.
I mean, I noticed during the week that the new Haas teammates is kind of like anti-England, because you got a Scotsman, you got an Irishman driving an American car. So I don't think it's a team that we're allowed to support that one there. So I can understand the you know, not being happy about it. But I think these two just want to fight, to be honest, and I appreciate them for that, because now Jolly's back in front by lieu of DRX. Maybe want to get screen time, but I'm not sure how much we can give them, because the pressure on the front is mounting. Malta? I mean, he's Dutch, so Mulder only has 1 warning. Leopard's still sitting on his 2, whereas Hit again on 2 penalties, sorry. So it's now or never for Leopard, as Mulder is actually having to go to the middle of the track, start thinking about defending. Again, if Leopard gets a penalty, this win all goes up in smoke, as Jolly now crashes out over the line. That's it. Guaranteed points for Squidgy Gini. You owe him a kebab. Shame for the Force India drivers, for the pair of them.
I already owe him 1. This is not good. 5 points for the season now, surely going to be for the Irishman if he does make it to the end. Meanwhile, MZAT's here trying to defend against Waystal. Once again, them softs have had it 15 laps in, but you could argue that the mediums are going to start to feel the effect as well, but not when they're 1 lap older, harder tyres. But we've got to stick on more with the leaders at this moment in time. No, we haven't, because Gianni has found a way back past Liam, and given the contact earlier, I don't think these two are exactly best buds in this one, and I'm sure the constructor's also probably going through the mind of Liam. Down towards turn 1, he gets the DRS wide open and shoots down the inside once again, and just has him straight away back. But we're about to start a penultimate lap. We've only got, can you believe it, about 7 miles left to go of this one, and it could potentially be about to be championship over. We knew it was going to potentially be a big one. We knew that Leopard has come off the back of some absolutely superb momentum, but I'm sure he's going to want to do it with that checkered flag as well, being for him, not for LCR Mulder. Down towards turn 1, Leopard closes and closes, creeps and creeps further and further up. Mulder again goes defensive on the inside, round the outside for Leopard, and again, Mulder defends it. He's just defending so tidily.
Leopard got way too much on the throttle there. He kind of pirouetted his car sideways. I think he needed a better run. I think Mulder moved over right at the literally correct time. I think any earlier or later, Leopard probably would have sent up the inside, which he's not. It's not very rare for him to do. As Gianni is now back ahead of King Leonis. Like, I mean, what do you watch right now? I think the main thing right now is Leopard is on the back of a great week, yes, but he won every race. So if he doesn't win this race, again, it's a championship, but there's a missing piece. And again, this is home yard, 3 titles, potentially a 4th. It looks like a 4th. LCR in his game tag. If he doesn't win here, I don't think he'd be very happy. I mean, he'd be chuffed he got a 4th title, but I should imagine he wants that win. One more warning, and it's over. Getting on the final.
It's last roll of the dice time. We're not in Monaco, we're in the middle of Italy, and we have to hope that he is indeed going to come up with green. LCR Leopard and LCR Mulder have driven superbly. Leopard has driven superbly over 4 seasons. Mulder has turned it up as of late and has a chance to suddenly become 2 from 2. But for how long can he? Leopard tries to go to the outside line, down towards turn 1. Never going to be quite on. And now out towards Curva Grande they come once again for the 27th and final time. As the yellow flag, his hit has gone off. Hit has missed the escape row. And that surely is championship curtains for the Frenchman. Down towards turn 2 though. Leopard going to go to the outside. Now goes to the inside under the brakes on LCR Mulder. Bit of contact through towards that section. They know it's all over. Leopard has surely written it all over. Leopard, 3-second time penalty. And just like that, on lap 27, LCR Mulder is surely on his way to being 2 from 2.
No, I don't. I almost, if I know Leopard, and I do, he's going to want to campaign to get that removed. So Leopard's just going to race as if he doesn't have it, and I think he's quite right to. He's going to go around the outside. I don't know if Mulder's going to race, knowing if Leopard has the penalty or not, but he defends wonderfully up the inside, and Leopard has to get a good move out of this corner because he's not got DRS on his side anymore. The next DRS activation zone is after the line. It looks all too late, penalty or no penalty. It looks like Mulder's going to win this race.
Indeed he is. It took him so long to grab one race victory, and now he's 2 from 2. LCR Mulder wins in Italy, but crucially LCR Leopard is a 4-time LCR World Champion. They say there is never such thing as heroes, but there is indeed inspirations, and LCR Leopard is most certainly that. A 12-time league racing champion, the German is once again efficient in Italy.